Record.
Thank you. So we're up to Kuf Tzadi Zayin, Dinei HaTarichin VeTahara VeIsar Hana B'Meis. Okay, so Vav, La'ach Shatiro, so we're talking about the Tahara of the mace. La'ach Shatiro is the mace, after they do the Tahara on the mace, Lo Yanicho Es Abasem Wakam Sheitahu. Don't leave him into the Tahara was. Eliyash Givu Keneged Pesach. They put him down at the door, Lefnim in Abayis, inside the house. And they don't turn the board where the Tara was done on. There's a sakana for that. Now, this is where I think people get that they can't sleep at the head door because you put the mace next to the door. I don't know what's going on. I really haven't found any source whatsoever that you can't see with your head towards the door. If anything, the mace goes, they put the mace goes out feet first. The only thing I could think is maybe you're not supposed to sleep near the door because near the door, that's the way they put a mace. Maybe, but I don't know. Zayin lo yanashik adam yiladav shemesu. A person should not kiss his children that died. He was sakana gedola. That's a sakana to gedola. Some say it's a sakana for the other kids. He shouldn't hold on to the hand of a dead body, and say to the mace, take him with him. So you can't do that. Shilas, is there any isser to kiss other relatives who are dead? So it's a machlokes. When you take the mace out, a person should not go out first. Right? Obviously, the people that are holding the mace have to go out of the house first. There's no kveda. Test. Let's say somebody fell by himself and died immediately. So if he has cuts on his body and the dam he's bleeding, and then we're afraid that the dam hanefesh, meaning the dam hanefesh is the blood that comes out that causes it to, that's the blood that's causing the death. Ain matara nasai. We're not with tahara. We're not with this. You don't do a tahara, right? Meaning because that blood has to be buried, so you can't just wash it away. Ela koivra noisa b'begodav ubim olav. We bury him with his clothing. Rak lamalam b'begodav karcha noisa b'sadan shekaran soiviv. Tava's clothing, they wrap him in a sheet called a soiviv, which means around the noig and lachba b'karka shenofel sham, and the minig is to dig into the ground where he fell. Im yesham dam, and if there's blood there, v'chein b'karav loy, and anywhere that's close to him, b'kayran imo yaskala afar sheyesh by dam. Unfortunately, they were very busy with this on October 7th. And only the clothing that he was wearing do they bury with him. But if the blood goes out to the other clothing, or if you put them on pillows and that type of thing, those things don't need kura. You wash them well until you don't see any dam at all. And then that water that you washed off the blood, then that you should put into the keva. But if dam didn't come out of him, then you take, meaning if he died without blood coming out, then you take off his clothing, so you do a regular taro, kishar mesim, and then you put him on tachrichin like other mesim. If somebody drowned, and you take off his clothing, kishar mesim, and his din is like other mesim. And some places are knowing the people that did drown, you bury them in their clothing. Vehecha the nog where they're noyeg, they're noyeg. Yud afilu im yotzim mimenu dam ela shekvar posak. Even if dam came out of him, right? But it stopped, meaning that he stopped bleeding when he was alive. We pushed to us begodim, and then they took off the clothing. V'chai achar zeh eze yom v'achar kach meis, and then he lived, and then for a few days, and then he died. Matar noisai v'tachrich, and then we'll matar him. They make him tachrichin. V'afal pishu meluchlach medam shiyotzim, and even though he's dirty with blood that came out of him, afilu achim matar noisai, we do matar ki ein lochash ledam shiyotzim mena b'chayim. We're not choshesh with dam that came out when he was alive. El dam shiyotzim mena b'shas misa. We're only worried about the blood that comes out b'shas misa. Chashin and shema hu dama nefesh. So we're choshesh that that's considered dama nefesh. Or shema nesara by dama nefesh, or maybe dama nefesh got mixed in there. Fine. Yud Aleph Yeleda Shemesa Machmas Leda. So all this stuff is depressing. Right. So a woman having a baby who died, Dina Kaharug is as if her din is the same as somebody got killed. Shem Yadu Shiyatzim Merubim, because if you know that a lot of blood came out, ain't matar, no, so we're not matar. Avalim Kvar Kolu Adam, let's say, but if the blood already stopped, and afterwards they died, She'ain L'Sapek B'dam HaNefesh, that meaning there's no suffix that this is dam nefesh, that this is the blood that caused her death. Eisen la kamay l'sharlat mason, you do it like they did for other mason. With harbe kihilas nogan latar kol yoldos, and in many kihilas the minig is to be matar every woman who died during childbirth. There are other menhagim b'yoldos ve'echad the nog where the noig they are noig. Yud beis hanerag al yedei akum, somebody who got killed by a goy. Even if no blood came out, they were choked. You bury them as they're found, in order to get Hashem to have anger at the goyim. Right? That's a very interesting thing. Meaning, this is not talking about people that are dying al kiddush Hashem. I think this is even people that are killed by a guy accidentally, like my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law was hit by a car. And I remember Reb Shlomo Miller came to me in Achamavel, and he said, she really didn't need a tahara. She was killed by a guy. They do tahara. As far as I know, we do the taharas anyways. But saying certainly all these people, Nebuch and Eretz Yisrael, that are killed, they really don't need fakir. It sounds like it's better not to, so that Hashem's anger goes on the goyim. Okay. Yud Gimel, mace, bein akum, bein Yisrael. A mace, whether it's a goy or a yid, v'tachricha, asurim b'ana. The mace is also b'ana, even a goy. And the tachrichan are also b'ana. V'chein noi ha-mace, ha-mechubarim begufay. Anything that's beautiful, that's on the mace, that are attached to the body. Could pay a nachris, like a wig, shein kshurin, a kluin, pesach saroisav, that's tied in or knotted into the hair, asurim v'ano, those are also asavana. Chenim hayaloi shein teseves, if they have a false tooth, you cover him. False tooth should be buried. Aval noi shein mechaber legufay mutter, but if something noi that's not attached, like a watch or jewelry, v'chein noi shein kein gufay, that noi things that are beautiful that are not part of the guf, tachitin v'abegadim, jewelry and clothing, mutar and b'cholini, those are all mutar. That's a common question, because there's a minig that you don't wear the shoes of somebody who died. So people think that you can't use the clothing that people died. Now the shoes thing is even if the shoes that weren't on them, although some say it's only the shoes that were on them. But other clothing and all that is perfectly mutar. Fine. Simen Kuf Tzadi. Ches Hilchos Eitzos Amez V'al Vayosef V'Tziduk Hadin Uboy Tes Zayin Seifim. So Aleph, im yesh meis be'ir. If there's a mace in the city, kol b'nei ir asurim b'melacha. Everybody in the city is also b'melacha. Yesh be'ir mamunim l'sasik b'meis. But if there's people like a Chevra Kadisha that are appointed to be b'aisik with the mace, elu she'ein tzrichen l'sasik b'mutarim b'melacha. Those that are not part of Chevra Kadisha are allowed to do melacha. But the default is if there's no Chevra Kadisha Everybody has to stop working in order to deal with the mace. B'kfar Katan, in a small town, in Yesham mace, if there's a mace there, Ein Shalom Shalom Zelzeh, you're not supposed to say Shalom to each other. Certainly, you don't say Shalom to each other because Yesham mace, afilu b'ir gedayla. When there's a mace, even in a big city, right? You don't say hello in a cemetery. Ein Sham mace. But when there's no mace, Shailin berichuk dalet amas min akvarim, then when you're 4 amas away, then you're allowed to say shalom. Gimel also lahalanas a mace, you are not allowed to leave a mace overnight. Shenemer leisalin ki covers ikvereno bayoim ahu. This is talking about the what's it called? They buried him right away when they I forgot. Whatever, one of those guys that misbehaved. Yeah, and if they leave it over for his covet, meaning it's a hush of a person instead of a bigger crowd. Well, okay, that's one example. To bring the aron, a tachrichin, or yivayu kroiva v'saftonin, or to bring relatives or people to say a spadim, and mutter, then it's mutter. The Torah only asked somebody similar to somebody who was hung. Shu derech b'zayin, because that's a derech b'zayin. Meaning, with the whole din is for somebody gets hung by bezdin shouldn't lay the body out all night. But not when it's for his covet. Meaning, when somebody was killed by bezdin, so it's bizyanis. But if it's not, if you're leaving him overnight because it's not, if it's not bizyanis, then it's prime. Let's say you find a dead person, and you don't know who it is. Then don't bury him. Rather, let it stay until somebody identifies the body. Okay, we will stop there for that portion.